Last time, I took a quick look at the construction of Xiong'an and analyzed the current and future development of Xiong'an with my humble opinion. I found that the degree of attention paid to Xiong'an was beyond my imagination. After more than half a year, we came to Xiong'an again and walked through the details that we didn't see last time. Xiong'an's plan is very large, and all the completed and under construction we can see now is the current status of the Rongqing Group. The main function here is to provide resettlement and starting areas for the original Rongqing residents. The starting area is the highlight. Of course, it is still in full swing, and we have to wait a few years before we can see a prototype. This time we first came to Xiong'an's Shong Park. When we came here in March, there were still many buildings under construction. This time it has been basically completed. There is a circle of walls outside the park. I thought it was not open yet. From the outside it looked like a closed resort. But as we drove directly into the park. When we got in, we found that there were already companies holding events here. It turned out that there were also hotels and conference facilities here. This is the first large-scale garden park in Xiong'an New area, covering an area of about 160 hectares. The park is divided into 3 parts. According to official introduction, it brings together the essence of southern and northern Chinese gardens. It brings together Chinese landscape paintings. It will be the core area for public activities and urban functions, as well as an important ecological and leisure space. We walked around inside and flew a large circle with a drone. It can be said that this is the most luxurious man-made park I have ever visited. With my limited knowledge, there are very few parks of this scale and with such exquisite design in China. There are all kinds of antique buildings, gardens, lakes and vegetation. There is even an ancient tower called Anhe Tower. I also checked the design and construction details on the internet. The level of care is no less than that of the Olympic Park in Beijing. Maybe this place will become a tourist attraction in the future. Next, we came to the Xiong'an Citizen Service Center, which has been built for 5 years. Part of its function is to handle Xiong'an government affairs, and the other part is to undertake external business office space. You can see how lush the vegetation is here. I feel like it's beyond their management capabilities. I don't know if it's intentional or if there aren't enough people to take care of it. But walking around the park surrounded by a wide variety of plants, it really feels much better than the steel jungle. I came on Saturday, and I didn't see many people working in the park. We can see that there are already banks, planning and design institutes, hotels, government office buildings, some exhibition halls and other related institutions inside. There is even a fever clinic. Shouldn't this be in a hospital? There are also Starbucks and McDonald's, as well as a convenience store in the park. It seems that the utilization rate of this park should be very high. There is also a staff canteen in the middle of the entire park, and it is open to the public. It looks pretty good. This price seems like a benefit for employees. Of course, there is really no other choice here except McDonald's. I walked and found a movie theater. The movie theater is placed in an office area. It is really hard to understand why. It is probably a place specially prepared for playing Xiong'an promotional videos. After entering, there are really nearby residents who come here to watch movies. Maybe this park also takes into account the entertainment needs of some residents in the surrounding area. But this one is really big. However, I have been walking around Xiong'an for so long, and I really haven't seen a self-driving car. I don't know when the concept promoted before will be implemented. When we were leaving the Citizen Service Center at noon, I saw some handymen working in the service center. Because of the hot weather, they slept in the shade of the badminton court. I think this city is really not built for them. How to evaluate this service center? It is indeed fully functional, and the environment and design are very good. It will probably be the first stop when visiting Xiong'an. But how can I say that such a good place has many areas vacant in 5 years, which is really a pity. Next, we drove and passed by the Xiong'an Sports Center, which is still under construction. The scale of the site here is comparable to the bird's nest in Beijing Olympic Park. When you drive near it, you can feel the grandeur of this building. It includes a 30,000-seat comprehensive stadium, a 10,000-seat gymnasium, and a 2,000-seat swimming pool. The building area is 78,000 square meters above ground and 107,000 square meters underground, which is larger than the ground. Probably, there are also large shopping malls and parking areas. We can only wait and see after it is built. This sports center has invested 2.5 billion yuan and plans to host international individual events and domestic comprehensive events in the future. It should also be regarded as the largest sports stadium in Hebei. Among the non-core functions that Beijing wants to evacuate, sports events are probably also included. We know that the annual maintenance cost of the bird's nest is as high as 80 million yuan. I hope that this venue can be used well in the future. This is what it looks like after it is built. Doesn't it look good? This time we are concerned about the lives of ordinary people in Xiong'an. Square dancing at night has become the main cultural life of most cities in China. Xiong'an is no exception. Seeing this scene, it is really impossible to associate it with an empty city. This should be one of the earliest built areas in Xiong'an, and the entire city is almost finalized. But what I find most strange is that in the middle of this brand new community, why is there no space for the people to have a cultural square? They still gather on the side of the road to dance, and a large area of the middle road has been occupied. During our filming, one of the cars passing by here was stuck in the middle of the road, and angrily pressed the car horn to express dissatisfaction. There is a huge Xiong'an Park nearby, but it has not been used. This time we had plenty of time, and we drove to Bayan in less than 30 minutes. Bayan is also a high-end scenic spot, but on the way here, we didn't feel the treatment of a high-end scenic spot at all. I heard that Bayan needs to be booked before we can play, but we drove directly through various field roads, and passed through the middle of a village, and then arrived at the edge of Bayan. Here are the cruise ships and farmhouses operated by locals themselves, and no one manages them at all. Such a simple and unpretentious high-end scenic spot is indeed rare in China. I didn't know this place at all before. I thought it was just a big lake. There were some reeds in it, and I didn't have any interest. After I came here, I found that it was indeed a big reed marsh, but I didn't expect it to be so big. It was scorching hot at this time, but once you get to the water, the temperature is much cooler. The large area of lotus flowers is very spectacular. We have rarely seen such scenery in the north, and the flora and fauna are so pleasant. I can probably understand why Xiong'an was built here. Other reasons may not be important. After all, people always like to live in places with water. This is human nature. Now let's talk about how I felt when I came to Xiong'an for the second time. Compared with the last quick visit, this time we obviously took a more detailed look at the current situation of Xiong'an. Whether from the overall scale or the details, I have a feeling that is shock. Such a large-scale artificial city with high configuration is definitely unprecedented, but I also believe that there will be no successors. Even if I live in Beijing, I often cannot have an intuitive feeling about this large-scale infrastructure. Beijing has indeed developed slowly in recent years, especially in infrastructure. Even if you live in some core areas such as Wangjing, Zhongguan and Chaoyang, you will not feel any particularly big changes. When you come to Xiong'an, you can feel that it has received great attention from the country. Let's talk about people's livelihood and life details. Xiong'an is still a northern city in the end, and a city built directly by administrative means mainly pursues large and comprehensive. But in terms of ordinary people's lives, as I concluded in the last episode, if you really live here, you will definitely not feel how convenient it is. If you are a person living in a large southern city, you will definitely not feel how good it is when you come to Xiong'an. They will complain about the convenience of life, the climate, and entertainment. But this is a northern city in China, and it has become the strongest in the entire north. In terms of software, I think northerners do not have the life genes engraved in the bones of southerners. Xiong'an will most likely only be the ceiling of northern cities in the future. It will naturally not be able to compare with southern cities in terms of life. Take the square dancers above. From planning to construction, this city has not designed an area for square dancers. If you go to Beijing, everyone is dancing on the side of the road, and then the old men and women sit on the side. They don't know what to do at night. Do you say this is a problem of urban builders or a problem of ordinary people? I don't know. What exactly is Xiong'an? Most likely it is just a place to work. You have the largest high-speed railway station in Asia, a beautiful and large urban garden park, a high-end resort hotel, a comfortable office environment, and the most intelligent urban management system. We have already seen all of this. Then, we can only wait for the changes that will come after this place is no longer an empty city.